Episode 2. Holy crap. Neck above the head.
Neck above the head.
How awesome is that?
It is awesome,
This is
dude.
great. This is so great.
I'm Nickachu, digital creator, pop culture aficionado, and actor extraordinaire.
I am Steve. I'm a musician. I am a video game aficionado, and I'm also a regular handsome chap.
I'm also a Hair Club president.
Right. I'm also not only a member, I'm a president. So yeah. Our episode today is something that wasn't necessarily recommended, but something that we really wanted to do. We love Sam Raimi, and this is Evil Dead 3: Army of Darkness.
Army of Darkness.
You know,
yes.
Oh my God.
Army of Darkness.
This is so good.
It's so good.
It's so good that I remember coming up from college and going to Blockbuster and renting it, and then taking it home to my parents, who I'm like, this movie's great. You guys are gonna love it, and they were just like, no, this
no go.
Wrong. I was like, but I'm like, look, let's talk about the filmography, and they were like, no, this is crap.
No, this is
like,
crap.
This is crap.
Wrong answer, McFly. That's so funny, dude.
I brought home Pulp Fiction also after I saw it in Rhode Island in a red velvet theater, and they were like, this is great also. I'm like, nothing. You people have no taste.
The thing about Army of Darkness, I remember seeing the preview. My dad had just retired, but I came over to visit, and my whole family got sick. So they said, just come with us to Fort Monmouth, the hospital there. You're not, I was the one already. I just turned 21, I think, and I'm not supposed to get any care, but they welcomed us. But I remember seeing the preview for Army of Darkness in the hospital there. It was just crazy. And I don't think the preview did the movie justice. You agree?
Absolutely, and I always watch previews before I watch a film.
Yeah,
I've seen this movie many times, so I wanted to kind of kick it around. And you're right. The preview was like it was. If you remember, do you remember the tagline? It was trapped in time, surrounded by evil, low on gas.
Low on gas. Yep. Wow, you got me, dude.
I get it. So they took a gamble on this, right? I mean, we both seen Evil Dead 1 and 2, the originals, not the remakes. This was a big sea change for the genre.
And a big, much bigger budget. The last one previous was made for $3 million. This one was made for, I believe, $3 million. Was it? I believe it was $3 million. This one's made for 11.
This movie?
Yeah, the Army of Darkness made for 11 million. They stretched the money out a lot, and I know they made cuts here and there. The special effects guy, I was watching like the disc thing the other day, and he's talking about how Sam Raimi, Bruce Campbell, he's narrating this little section of the Blu-ray where he's talking about how the special effects people that worked on the last one, they assembled them to come back. And they just started a new company, and they were hungry. They needed work. And he goes, as a matter of fact, I as soon as we hired him, I lent him $20. That's how hard up they were. But dude, they did a great job, dude. They did a great job.
So you're right on the money as far as the budget. But oddly enough, the studio budget was only $8 million. So Raimi, Bruce Campbell, and Rob Tabor gave $1 million back to finish the movie. So
you're right.
How they got to the $11 million budget. So, I mean, this was a labor of love for those.
It was.
So 1993, Sam and Ivan Raimi wrote it. I think you and I really love this film.
Yeah, I love this movie. This movie's just great.
right? I mean,
Ton of great one-liners. Come get some.
and so a lot of the one-liners, and this was sort of controversial, at least from a gamer perspective.
Duke
So there was a
Nukem.
game, Duke Nukem 3D.
Yep.
That took a lot of lines from Bruce into this film. Hail to the King Baby, etc. There were a lot of little bites here and there, and Bruce apparently was not pleased with that. But again, it's pop. It's a reference,
an homage.
Pop
it's an
culture
homage
reference.
to an
There's
awesome
no
movie.
there's no way to monetize that, especially back in the 1998, to early aughts, as you
Yeah.
will.
they
I mean,
a lot of that stuff was improvised. A lot of the lines. Hail to the King. Remember,
a lot of it was.
Well, I'm the king.
Hail
you're
the
Hail
King.
Yeah.
Groovy is one of the
Groovy.
big lines for me that was
Groovy.
totally not scripted.
Yeah.
So, talking about the history of the film. So this is the third of 3 in the Evil Dead series, right? So
Yes.
81, 87. This was what, 93?
93. That's a
right.
big.
So
that's a
and
big time jump between each one.
Huge time jump, but there's a couple of reasons for that, right? So you have Darkman with Liam Neeson, which was the next Sam Raimi film, and
I saw that.
I believe that I did too. I saw it in the theaters.
So did I
as well.
Yeah.
I believe that movie was the conceptual jump. It was sort of a proof of concept for the later this Army of Darkness film, and there's a lot of reasons for it, and a lot of it has to do with the effects company that they had work into it. And I don't want to, I don't want to work into, I don't want to, I want to get into Introvision before we get to the, the nitty gritty about the film itself. But
or Spanktrovision. Sorry, just trying to help myself.
Spank your face. Spank. So, this is a IMDb 7.4 out of 10, 68% Rotten Tomatoes, 87% audience rating. So clearly, this is an audience loved film, and I don't think that would surprise anybody, especially if you think about hard to describe, but when we were young, first got our license and were first getting out, we would go to movies all the time.
Yeah.
In theaters, live Friday, Saturday night, and it was an electric.
It was
audience. Everybody was on their edge, and everybody, people would scream or yell or laugh.
Yes,
and it was accepted, but it was a community experience. That's all.
It's in the past, and you know what? Another thing, we also went to see the previews. The previews are a big thing. I remember seeing a preview for Batman '89.
Yeah.
Batman, like, holy shit, it's happening.
I mean,
and I liked it. But
I remember when we lived together, like we were trying to figure out where the Phantom Menace trailers, what were they playing against?
Yeah,
and we would walk in the theater and then leave.
You know what I did? You remember the time I recorded? They played it on TRL, and Kurt Loder aired it. And I recorded you're like, dude, can I see it again?
Showing it,
and then I gave you the videotape so you could watch it in your room.
And it was actually a VHS tape.
VHS,
hilarious. Yeah. But we didn't have phones.
Yeah.
We had internet, but like there was no, YouTube wasn't playing that nonsense.
Yeah, YouTube was still
right. I mean, it was a thing, but it wasn't like it is now. It's so crazy. So this is an amazing. I guess, an accomplishment if you think about it, because the film rolled, did what it had to do. The star and the producer and the director had to give up $1 million each to finish the film. So it's clearly a labor of love.
Definitely a labor of love.
And the way it worked out, is interesting, and we'll get into that later. But like this, there were a lot of ways this movie could go, and it ended up going a couple different ways versus the director versus studio.
In the studio,
and
yeah.
It turned out that the studio version ended up being the definitive version. But
It ended up being,
there's a lot to talk about.
But I think actually then studio people actually did their homework, I think, with a lot of stuff. I mean, there's sometimes studio stuff.
Yes,
but
no.
like okay, the ending, the alternate ending. He wakes up in what, France?
What? No, it's England.
England. He wakes up in England, and
Big Ben is crashed behind him.
Yeah,
and
he's got a big beard.
He's long hair, and he's like, "Well, I slept too long."
Yeah,
I think it's clever. But you really couldn't work.
You couldn't go further from that because it was pretty much.
Ash versus Evil Dead works off the sci-fi cinematic TV ending, or the film ending.
Yeah, there's four different versions.
We'll get to that.
Yeah,
we'll get to that later.
Yes. I had a few things that I found out about this movie. Awesome. There was a lot of Sam Raimi likes to pay homage to a lot of, to the Three Stooges. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah.
He called somebody Ash called some what's his name? I'm trying to think of his name. The Wise Man Joe. He calls him Spinach Chin. And that's from it's called Malice in the Palace from the Three Stooges. One of those little short.
Really?
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. So that's they just, and there's so much slapstick stuff when he's like dancing with himself, and he's like honk honk honk. You remember that,
especially with the the miniature versions of him.
Yeah, those are great.
I mean, that's all silly slapstick.
My Fair Lady.
Fork. Yeah. How great is that? So funny.
Just so many good things, so many good, and it's original. You don't see that anymore,
And
right?
It was a really sea change from the series. So you have Evil Dead 1 horror, Evil Dead 2 horror, Evil Dead 3 fantasy slapstick,
horror comedy,
horror as a sidebar.
And it wasn't really much of horror though, but it was.
I think they remember you have Darkman in the middle.
Yeah.
After Evil Dead 1 and 2. And this is well before Spider-Man and the whole thing, and Bruce Campbell you'll see in every film that Sam Raimi does, but which is great. But when you have Evil Dead 1 and 2, which were like basically if you want to compare them to everything else, they're college films, right? They're right. I mean they're test for proof of concept.
Exactly.
Then you have Darkman, which is a major film that scored major dollars all across the globe.
Yeah.
And then that's how they got approval for Evil Dead 3, which was Dino
De Laurentiis.
Army of Darkness, right? Yeah. So this Darkman was sort of a proof of concept for this movie. And it all had to do with how they filmed it, and that was the the film company we're talking about. Well, it's interesting. We'll get into that. I don't want to tip the hand because we're still working through how the film was kind of
brought together and conceived.
So let's roll that out. So
okay.
We'll talk about this later. Anyway, so there were a lot of inspiration for this movie, which was a much lighter tone. You have bits from Connecticut Yankee and King Arthur's Court by Mark Twain, which is obviously Ash suddenly in S-Mart suddenly he's in medieval times, which is a layup, but also with the in the windmill. It looks like Gulliver's Travels by Jonathan Swift.
Yes, because he's tied down.
Miniature people.
Yeah, the miniature people.
Hilarious.
The miniature people.
I mean, it's a layup as far as inspirations go.
There's a lot of inspirations. This actually had several working titles before they ended up with Army of Darkness. It was first originally called Evil Dead 3, but they said they wanted it to be like its own. They wanted to be a standalone. If it could be. And it was because they said they tried to rehash by using the footage from the other movies, but they didn't have the rights to it. That's horrible. He's directed it and he didn't have the rights.
It was basically like a 30-second review of
what happened
in 2.
So they just basically shot their own all over again. Bridget Fonda was in it. Do you remember that? She was
she was the third version of his girlfriend.
Yeah, she was so adorable in that.
Oh my God. I mean, she was gorgeous, and like apparently she's like a Evil Dead super fan. So
that's awesome.
That was her just begging her way onto
probably
onto the part. And honestly, it made sense because there were 2 versions of his girlfriend before that.
Yeah, and they look kind of dated. They had the feathered hair and
right.
Anyway, another version, another working title was Medieval Dead. Did you know that?
Which I love because it's evil.
Yeah.
It's not
medieval.
The word evil, but it's Medieval Dead.
Yeah, medieval. It works. Evil Dead 3, Evil Dead 3, Army of Darkness, and the first release of it in the UK was actually called Army of Darkness, The Evil Dead.
So, a version that I have says Bruce Campbell versus The Evil Dead 3.
Wow,
which is weird.
The French one.
Yeah, so it's weird because it doesn't make sense, but also it doesn't really line up with any of the titles. Bruce Campbell, why would they say? I mean, his name is Ash.
Yeah,
Williams, right? So,
yeah.
So apparently that's an homage or an attempt to honor, Godzilla versus Frankenstein or whatever.
Yeah.
Abbott and Costello versus the Mummy.
Yeah. Hey,
Abbott. What are you doing? But as the movie went on, my wife and I were like, this. A lot of the background music sounded familiar, and sure enough, Danny Elfman from Oingo Boingo, the Simpsons guy, and every
Spider-Man.
He did all the music, and which made sense. I mean, it was not as bombastic or, as intricate, as
Spider-Man.
any of the later Tim Burton movies, or Spider-Man on, I guess.
Batman, yeah,
right. You have.
Homeboy keeps on working, man. He's just keeps on.
The guy's he's a beast. He really is.
Yeah, he's a genius,
and he put out a record with Trent Reznor. From Nine Inch Nails.
How was that?
Talk about 2 of your most influential film, scorers of the last 10 years.
Yeah.
And in Elfman's case, the last 30 years. It's crazy. I find it wild because they're really 2 disparate composers. Man, they just crushed it. So good.
That's crazy. And Trent Reznor, he's set. He's an Academy.
Oh yeah, I mean, not only is he already set, but anything he touches is gold. I mean, Nine Inch Nails just came out with a new record. I mean, it's great and it's terrific.
Have you heard it?
It's great. It's great.
I got to check it out.
Oh my God! I mean, everything. It doesn't matter. I mean, everything he touches is gold.
That's really cool. Again, here we go about the whole thing about the movies. When they were released, it was like almost like a religious experience. Everybody going and feeling it all together. It was a communal thing. But again, with music, it's like it's out. Like I remember when things were out when they were coming out. Oh, this is the new
right
video.
And I think there is a tie-in with movies and Natural Born Killers or any of these great films, Pulp Fiction. You listen to the soundtrack and you're like, God, this is amazing. Even if you never heard the songs, Son of a Preacher Man,
Urge Overkill was on Pulp Fiction, right?
Sister Havana. Holy crap! What a great song. And the songs are 94, 96, but the soundtrack, whoever assembled it, and a lot of time it was, turns out, Natural Born Killers was Trent Reznor.
Yeah.
I don't know who did Pulp Fiction. I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was. The director, but Tarantino. But my God, I mean, there's a lot of times, at least in that era, the soundtrack defined film, or at least highlighted.
Like we just our last episode, our premiere episode. It definitely the Crow.
Yeah,
all
Crow,
the music there was just boom, boom,
True.
boom, knockout, knockout.
That was probably
Yep.
the first instance of that, at least in the we'll call it the modern era. Huh.
And Sam Raimi's Spider-Man had a pretty damn good killer soundtrack. I mean,
Yeah,
it had a lot of a lot of hits on that one. And
yeah, I mean, Dashboard. You have
Dashboard.
Brian May and Jimmy Necco from Ours.
Dashboard. I love Dashboard. That was Spider-Man
right?
2. Yeah, good stuff.
But I mean, that encapsulates
that whole thing. Yeah.
All three of those movies had a great, very involved soundtrack that really kind of underscored a lot of the things that were happening on the screen. Wild.
Yeah. They had. I remember Spider-Man 2 had raindrops keep falling in my head. Remember that scene?
I do.
Dude, I don't know if you know this. When I was a baby, the song was big, and I would stand. You didn't know I didn't know I was a baby. Okay, I was a baby at one time. Anyway, I would stand in my crib or in my playpen and just rock out to that. Headbang to raindrops keep falling in my head.
Yeah,
simple song. Anyway, so the little sidetracking there.
Nice.
They said it was difficult for Bruce Campbell to play the evil Ash because it took at the very least 3 hours of makeup chair time.
Yeah,
so it's kind of hard for him. And there was other shortcuts they took, like the chainsaw. You probably know this too, maybe. They would feed. They had a tube feeding tobacco smoke. Somebody's blowing tobacco smoke to a tube up his leg, through his sleeve, and up to the chainsaw to make it look like it was constantly like moving, like it was idling.
Right. Because the chainsaw never actually was
yeah
on, right? I mean, for safety's sake.
The chainsaw.
Practicalities.
What did the guy call him? Hey, strange one. Is that what he called him?
Yes.
He hands him. He tosses the chainsaw.
Right,
it's like
click. Yeah, it was like he jumps
awesome.
up and suddenly it just fits into this stump.
That's
right?
awesome.
What?
It worked.
There's some suspension of belief.
You have to. And the belt. He whips the belt up to grab the chain. What do you think? You just grab the chain.
But later, the belt's not even there, and the belt's there, but like he has the grip on the chain. There's a lot of continuity errors in this film. And, we're not going to beat it up for that nonsense.
No, but it's good. It works though. You just got to suspend all.
Right. I mean, it's plausible that he could, get the belt up and grab it, the rope eventually.
It acts like an Indiana Jones whip and just catches.
Well, cool. I mean,
it's awesome.
Movie. I'm all about it. I'm all about, Indiana Jones references and all that.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Right.
Okay. Here's something that I didn't pick it up when I watched it last, but since I watched it again just recently for this,
okay.
It's just a little tidbit here. The girl who played remember at the end when he kicks ass one more time in the S-Mart?
Yes.
The cashier that works there, he kisses.
She's wearing a denim skirt, I guess.
Yeah, denim skirt. Her name is Angela Featherstone. Oops. And this is like a kind of a far reach, but she played the girl that Ross cheated on Rachel with in Friends.
Really?
That was probably her big thing. I mean, she did a few other things. I looked at her filmography. She did a few things, but she just never caught on, I guess. I don't know. But
I don't remember that. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, neither did Bruce, right? I mean, Bruce Campbell, this was sort of his springboard to leading man.
Yeah, he was headed there, but it just didn't happen. The thing is, what you were talking about, where they all pitched in money to make this happen. Back when they were struggling, Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell, they went to college together, and they met in college, and they became pals, and they'd always hung around. I think actually even high school. I think I'm pretty sure the producer too. They all were in the same community. They were
walk of life, if you will. Yeah.
So they would go out they were in New York City, and they didn't have a pot to piss in, so they would go to a bar, and a girl would start buying them drinks, and Sam Raimi would tag along, and then what they do is they go back to her apartment because he was one of those the kind of happening guys then, and he would like sleep on the couch when Bruce is busy with the girl. Is that funny? Like you drag him along.
Wow.
Can my buddy come along? Yeah, it's so funny.
Yeah. We have a place to sleep, right? So,
yeah.
Oh my god.
And get some food, but look what he's become. It's not. It's something when you have this vision as to where you're heading, and you stay on it because you know it's right. And
right.
And he did it. It's borrowing from Frank. What am I thinking here? Sinatra. I did it my way. Sam Raimi. He had his own. You can see Sam Raimi's stuff, and it's got his own brand on it. His own camera angles. His
frenetic. Frantic camera angles. Flying through the. Yeah, for sure.
Peter Parker running down the street after Uncle Ben was shot. He's running, and then quick change. You see the spider on the back, and then it comes back. That's Raimi all there.
Yeah, right.
The Drag Me to Hell, the handkerchief that goes in the girl's mouth, and just all those weird little jerky moves, close-ups.
Right. Yeah, that's perfect.
There's a lot of just like his camera. The people working the cameras for his movies, they really earned their money because they did it was like a one-on-one. Like the cameraman was the bad guy, but they were just work. It just
the camera
amazing.
Was a character. Yeah.
Yeah.
And those guys were doing handheld. They were rocking handheld cameras. So like that's not easy.
The thing is, now it's become a thing. There was the new Bad Boys. I just saw it. Pretty good movie.
Okay.
Will Smith was working a camera while pretending he's shooting, in the scene. It looked pretty kick-ass. It looks pretty involved. But anyway, that's probably has something to do inspired by Sam Raimi and what he's done, And I'm sure others have probably done it before, but
sure. But hey, I mean, in this exercise, I mean, we're talking about Sam Raimi films, so
yeah,
I think it makes sense to point out his previous and subsequent works.
He keeps on going.
Yeah, dude, he's a beast, and so was Bruce. Really, I mean, you look at his filmography, with and without Sam Raimi, and it's pretty extensive, and there's a lot of connections between, Evil Dead and the comic book, not Burke universe. Ash has encountered a lot of Marvel undead characters. Encountered Bubba Hotep. Character, like they, in the same universe. A lot of. In fact, the subsequent, ideas for Evil Dead 4 were put into action in comic book form by, I think it was Dark Horse.
Dark Horse usually picks up stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, they did a lot of great work with Prometheus and a lot of other properties, and Star Wars, really, before Marvel took it back over.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah, I mean, they did amazing work.
Marvel had Star Wars, I think, when it was a big thing, and then Star Wars kind of dried up a little bit because he didn't put anything out, and so Dark Horse picked up the mantle. Yeah. But then I think Marvel jumped back on it. But
it was Marvel, Dark Horse, Marvel. Basically for Star Wars, which is crazy.
Well, we'll take you back. You're making money now. Come back here. I want to show you something. Let's talk money. Sam Raimi directed a really good movie that I'd never seen, but I watched it with an old girlfriend of mine not long ago. It was called For the Love of the Game. Have you seen it?
No.
Kevin Costner, Kelly Preston. It was from
I'm familiar with it, but I've never seen it.
From 99. Sam Raimi.
Really?
And it's a beautifully done movie. It's Sam Raimi. It's like, dude. And there wasn't really that many. There was a few little hints of his style in there, but it was like a beautifully shot movie, a love story type thing. And remember Quick and the Dead? Another one he did.
Yes. No.
And the whole that was shot through, what was it? Lex Luthor.
Really?
The guy who played Lex Luthor. He was a bad guy.
Yeah, the bald guy. I can't.
Yeah,
remember.
the bald guy.
He was bald.
Here's a Barney. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, Barney.
I don't have that problem. No.
Yeah, neither do I. Thank God. No offense to anybody who does. We're not here to disparage anybody. Anyway, Gene Hackman. So there was a Sam Raimi part in there. Yeah. She when she finally shot him, she blew a hole right through him. I don't know if you remember that. And it was very Sam Raimi, like the whole cameras. Yeah, but anyway, we're jumping off track here. That's what we do here at Nick Above the Head, right?
Yeah,
jump off track and go above the head.
Well, it's all connected, right?
All connected.
So one of the things that I found interesting about Army of Darkness was the rating. So it was finally rated R, but initially was NC-17.
NC-17.
That was in the oh my God, everything is evil and satanic. But it turned out the logic to get it to R was simply it's sci-fi violence, right? Like just like Star Wars, like Buck Rogers, anything else. Everything, it doesn't happen to real people. It happens to, in this case, skeletons.
And you know what? It's you look at it now. It's nothing, right?
It really is nothing. It really is.
I think the most vicious thing is like, he drops an F-bomb when he comes back after he brings the book.
Yeah, like, the swearing. I mean, that's
he goes,
one thing, but like, really, even the violence, isn't that bad. It's all sci-fi violence. I'm gonna eat your gizzard, and they say that like 3 or 4 times. Like, okay, what's a gizzard?
I'll swallow your soul. Come get some.
Yeah, I mean, not offensive and not evil. Yeah, it was just funny.
I remember one of my favorite parts from the movie was when he's burying evil Ash. He's like, hey, you'll never get the book of Necronomicon. And he goes,
you got something on your face?
Yeah, and he goes, hey, what's got on your face there? Huh?
Right. So I noticed I noticed that the version, the sci-fi version that you watched and the movie version that I watched, that scene is cut in half. So like it was like, what do you got in your face? And like he just throws a thing of dirt, and that's it. But you had like probably 8 seconds more of
dialogue
of combative dialogue, which is great. I mean,
another part they changed for that version, the sci-fi version. Remember when he's like when he puts a gun up to his evil self, and he shoots him, he blasts him, and he slams into the tree. Evil Ash. He goes, good, bad. I'm the one with the gun. For the sci-fi version, he goes, I'm not that good. Just little subtle changes.
Well, that is different. I mean, that actually spins it around a little bit.
Yeah, it kind of takes away the bravado, I think, of who Ash is, to say something.
Well, he was always sort of cowardly, he does freak out and run away. I mean, even in this film, he kind of backs up, if you will.
Yeah. But look what he's up against. I'd be kind of like,
I get it. I get it. I get it. It makes sense to me. But at the same time, he's not the most brave character in the series. And they made a big show of everybody walking away from him, like
when they're about to throw him in the pit in the beginning. He goes, "Hey, wait a minute. I don't even know this asshole.
I'm not the guy. I'm not that guy. Yeah, right. And,
I don't even know this asshole.
I don't think they're going to listen.
He goes, I don't think they're going to listen, mate. Awesome.
Good stuff.
It's good stuff, dude. And
there's a lot of meat.
You sons of whores.
In this little film, there's a lot of meat.
There's a lot of meat. A lot of
there's a lot of really good one-liners. Like speaking of one-liners, so like there's that part where Ash gets his hand back and he says, "Groovy." Yeah. That was not in the script.
No,
that was completely ad-libbed. And that's like, for me, that defines that movie. Like that was the best line of the film.
It was an awesome line, and also that shot when he's building the hand. It's all Sam Raimi his shots. his
Yeah,
camera.
right.
There's
Frantic camera action, tightening up the pneumatics.
Zoom, quick zooms.
Yeah, right.
Which
it was like the quickest montage of all time.
Pretty cool.
In the second montage, there's like, we're gonna train everybody to fight the demons with the spears. Like, my God, that was the worst montage of all time.
Yeah,
and he's like, oh my God, so bad. So because we know that Raimi and Bruce Campbell went to school together, clearly pranks come into play when you've known somebody this long.
Yeah.
So when Ash is getting when he's first introduced in the first scene, he's in the stocks. They were throwing rocks at all the characters, but they mixed in some potatoes in the rock piles.
Heard something about that.
To get a real reaction from him. Bruce Campbell was pissed, and you can actually see it on screen.
Yeah. I mean, who makes a movie for $11 million? I know it was kind of. Would you consider it kind of a independent, but not really, right? He had a big budget. I mean, not big budget, a good Universal backed it, right? It was Universal.
Yeah, I mean, and they had a hand in kind of guiding the ending of the film. So the budget was $8 million, with the additional millions from the three director, producer, star of another $1 million. That works out to $11 million bucks. It did make money eventually. I think it had a $4.4 million opening weekend, which isn't great.
It isn't great at all.
Kind of worried everybody. But overall, I think the movie ended up grossing over $21 million, almost 22. With a video, with everything, that
merchandising.
Yeah, right. So not a bad, for an $11 million film or an $8 million from studio, not a bad return.
Not a bad one at all.
And I think that launched really Sam Raimi's major
his career. Yeah,
right?
It did. I mean, after that, some other ones, Quick and the Dead, I think came out shortly after that.
Right. Yeah. That's right.
It was 95, I believe. That's crazy.
Yeah. Right.
I give props to the people who actually gave him a chance, because when I was younger, I saw okay, he got the job to direct Spider-Man.
Right.
I don't know, I know what he does. Evil Dead, Army of Darkness is awesome, but I don't know if he can do this. And he pulled it off, man. He did a good job.
Yeah,
Spider-Man,
and it's framed. I mean, you think about, the intricacies of film production and what goes into it and special effects. And, we looked at, the thing we talked about earlier before we started filming about the intricacies and the practical effects that they built for this film. And all the, the Ray Harryhausen, skeleton stuff is one thing, but they really put a lot of time. They had to sync up, back frame and front frame. And this was really a precursor of green screen for Lucasfilm. Think about it. The film company, Introvision is the film company. So Darkman used Introvision, and they went forward with it.
The special effects
for right. So I mean, they really, if think about this. So here's a direct quote. So the advantage of using Introvision over other special effects processes is the incredible amount of interaction between the background, which doesn't exist, and the foreground, which is usually your character.
Yes.
Tell me that doesn't sound like what the actors dealt with in the Phantom Menace.
Yeah, the blue dot suits.
Right. I mean, everybody's looking at a prompt something a reference point.
a mop with like a monster.
Yeah, like you have Jar Jar's head way above Ahmad Best's face, and it's hard to act to that. So you have to have this dumb, foam dummy with eyeballs.
To look
at Misa.
Misa, come on down. Yeah, you're all done now. Yeah. I'm the worst character ever. That didn't sound like him. Like a homeless Jar Jar. I know girls that, he's so cute. I'm like, no, he's not.
Nobody ever said that.
Yeah.
What are you? Were you friends with 9-year-old girls? Because nobody ever said that.
I know.
So here's a funny side note. So supposedly, and everybody has their own version of this, Darth Sidious was supposed to be Jar Jar.
That would have been.
He was supposed to be like this dumb idiot. Look, Misa. Yusa look great in water, son. And like suddenly he's like the master, planner.
They show him at the end walking and started to walk straight. He's like, Isaac Shosa.
right. Get the limp.
Yeah.
So they actually in one of the novels that are apparently, I guess, canon now, which Jar Jar lives back on Naboo, and he's like a sad, literal sad clown.
Yeah.
Because he really, if you think about in the films, he was the one who, provided the introduction of the vote to elevate the Chancellor to an emperor. Give him, extended powers, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So it turns out the galaxy hated Jar Jar for that because he was filling in for, Padme. And he turned out to be a pariah, which is really sad. I mean, the way he would basically entertain refugee children until he died, penniless, in the gutter, because he was hated. He was shunned. Really sad, and an awful end for a character that everybody hated.
And it was in one of the novels.
It is, yeah.
That's crazy.
It's really dark. Star Wars did a good job of writing dark. Everybody likes to make fun of, and I'm not even going to touch the Skywalker trilogy, but they did a good job of fleshing out a lot of darkness. In
the books.
Yeah, and it was brutal. Oh my gosh! A lot of the and that was like a sidebar. It was sort of like American Psycho, where they talk about Huey Lewis for a chapter. A sidebar, like, we're going to talk about, but we're on Naboo, and everybody kicks him in. They get off the ship and they kick him in the nuts, and he's like, Ousa. It's just brutal. Like everybody hates that dude, and
that's kind of sad.
I don't know if it's even. I can't even say it's ironic because I think they wrote it that way, like. Everybody still hates Jar Jar, and you know what I mean? Like they just kind of rolled with it, like that guy sucks.
Everybody hates you.
Poor guy.
Yeah,
Gosh.
Poor Jar Jar.
Right,
but he was one of the ones that actually, if it wasn't for Jar Jar, a lot of stuff we have today that was developed at Industrial Light and Magic, the technology that made
ILM and Lucasfilm.
It doesn't look great. It still looks pretty good, but. They've improved a lot. I mean, Jar Jar to Thanos,
Yeah, I mean, even this film. I mean, what we're talking about with, how they would have two layers, sort of like Photoshop. Mm-hmm. That's basically how they filmed this movie. I mean, you have Introvision, which would basically but. What's interesting is they would do it in real time. So, like, you would have basically two cameras. You have the background and the foreground. Foreground is Bruce Campbell or whoever it is.
Yeah.
The background is everything else. It's an interesting film concept, and it looks dated.
It does look dated. I was looking at it, and the color shading and stuff was a little bit off.
Right.
And they did the best they could.
Yeah,
and they busted their ass to make it look
that. I mean, in some of the film the film breakdowns scientifically. It took one guy like 3 hours to color shade 1 second of film.
1 second, one split second.
For background to foreground, right? So like you had to match for it to look real. You had to match the background and foreground. If there's any weird lighting or direct lighting or side lighting or side fades or whatever, you have to account for that on both shades. So,
and it was film. It was film. It wasn't digital now.
It's not right.
I think the Star Wars
uploaded to your computer.
Exactly. I think Star Wars
film.
The Phantom Menace, I think, is one of the movies that started out making movies digital. Am I right?
For sure, 100%. Everybody knows that, and that was the green screen, revolution.
Video film.
Everything was digital, and it really revolutionized the film industry, and everybody admits it. It's not a secret.
Now they disperse the films throughout the country, and they just show them, download that, and play it. Right?
Yeah.
It's not like the film reels anymore. Anyway,
yeah, right. You don't wheel the cart into the classroom. Like, hey, everyone, we're gonna watch Phantom Menace. Not quite that bad.
Let me get this going.
Your testicles and you. Not quite that bad.
Testicles and you. Your testicles and you.
Johnny Dangerously. You remember that?
Yeah.
Your testicles and you. Oh my God, so good.
Johnny Dangerous. I missed the bus. You missed the bus. We all missed the bus.
We all missed the bus.
That's funny.
Omnibus. So
the radio's too loud. So stupid, but so genius. It's so funny.
This was honestly, Joe Piscopo was freaking brilliant in that role, and oh my God.
Yeah.
It's a perfect film. It's a perfect Saturday afternoon.
We got to do that one. We got to do that one next.
There's so much we can talk about that movie.
Oh
my God.
We have so many things. We're up and coming is Big Trouble in Little China.
No.
We got to do that. Dude, see, this is that whole neck above the head thing. We sidetrack. This is our conversation, guys. This is our conversation 100% all the time and for hours.
There's 100% reason why we're doing this now.
Dude, the sun's coming up. No, it's not that bad, but still.
I gotta get to work. My God. Yeah, I know. My God.
It's
so
good, all good.
Let's talk about Sheila for a minute.
Sheila.
Let's go back to this film. So, and Beth Davids, she basically wanted to quit acting after this film, which I get.
Because
at what they put her through.
They put her through a lot of shit, and it was like a lot of. It was really hot, I believe, right? They shot it
Mojave
in
Desert. Yeah. My God.
And they also shot one of the scenes in North Carolina, or something like that. It's
possibly
the creature with the big head. Not me.
Oh, coming out of the pit?
Yeah.
Out of the pit or the flying one?
I think the one coming out of the pit. It was so big, they just left it there. They just left it there. Is that because they get in trouble for not recycling? Or
yeah, depends on what. I don't think anybody's recycling latex.
I don't think so.
Back then, who knows?
Yeah, back then. It's funny though, but I think maybe it was the flying thing. Perhaps that thing was kind of funny. Yeah, they made do what they did.
When she turned evil, I mean, there was a lot of prosthetic action happening on her character. And they're in the desert, that's got to be uncomfortable.
It's got to be horrible.
When you think about Lord of the Rings and what they did with those guys. I mean, that's brutal.
Yeah, she almost got, brutal. They shot that in Australia? Not Australia. And right next to Australia.
New Zealand,
yeah. New Zealand.
I'm like, I thought you were talking about,
New Zealand,
Army of Darkness.
No. The Lord of the Rings. It's just
Lord of
hot.
the Rings,
and it's usually cheaper to shoot in certain, like Georgia gets a lot of places. A lot of movie companies
Vancouver,
shoot there. Yeah. Anyway, which wins again.
Hard to film a desert in Vancouver.
Just quite
work.
Yeah. not gonna work. Okay.
But she almost quit acting because of this.
I saw that. Yeah.
And then she was in Matilda. She was also in Schindler's List, which won a couple of Academy Awards.
Yeah.
So like, she clearly, made the right choice. I get it. A movie like this, which is basically
almost broke you.
College film with an $8 million budget.
with the kicker.
Yeah, I was like,
I think we're gonna go back to selling hot dogs on the car.
I'm gonna go back to school and figure out medicine.
I'm gonna go back and get back to my cousin's vinyl siding business. Yeah,
I'm a good salesperson.
I'm gonna go tap dance on the corner on the sand.
Anything's got to be better than wearing prosthetics. Honestly.
Prosthetics in the heat, dude.
Terrible.
I remember I did it was a tribute to the Lost Boys. I did this back 2017.
Nice.
I don't know what happened to it. And to be honest, the guy's a real nice guy that directed. He was somebody I knew through my old acting teacher, John, in Red Bank and ATI. And he asked me to be in it. And I played a vampire called Rage, Rayge. And it was just
going to say, I knew there was a Y in there.
Yeah, anyway. It had to be. So that was my genius idea. Anyway, a little metal edge to it. Anyway, so we were shooting on the beach and we had to snarl at the camera, take different turns snarling at the camera. And they had it was what's it called? Bonfire on the beach. So we're snarling and I'm breathing out smoke and I'm like, I'm gonna pass out here. I'm like, defrib me if I drop, okay?
Right,
yeah, we were like,
I'm gonna die.
Yeah, I might die here. Not good. So, I understand the stresses. I just did up North Jersey. I did a bit part in a movie up North Jersey called Lemonade Blessing, and we were in a church, and it was hot as hell because places like that, they don't want to. It's a business. It's a church, but it's a business. Right. They don't want to run the AC.
Run AC, right?
Knowing that people are going to be in and out, and they're basically, cooling down the great outdoors. So, and then the next day we were at a school, and it was just hot. It was just bad. It was bad, okay. But I get that. I get that. Where you're like, but if you can get through it, you get through it, and that's the sacrifice you make.
That's
for what
the
you
art,
want.
Right?
Yeah, that's the art.
Shit.
Yeah.
And I get it. It's not easy. But that's part of what.
That's with you being a musician, right?
Yeah, right. I mean, my gosh, I played a show not too long ago, and everybody knows climate change is real. My God, I did a show, outside in 98-degree weather, starting at 5 p.m. And my God. I was like, I'm not going to be doing any pogos here. I'm going to hydrate well, and I'm going to stick to my mic, and I'm not going to
no
go
drinking
crazy. No, I'm not doing any heavy metal windmill hair. That's not happening here. If I did that, I would probably asphyxiate myself and pass out.
So you're playing outside.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
On the water. Oh my gosh, it was great. But when you're compensating for heat and humidity, it's not easy.
Is this really worth it?
Oh my God!
Yeah,
horrible.
That's it.
Not horrible, but a hard.
You're doing what you love, but
we made our money's worth that day.
Yeah, you earned your money,
right?
That's the thing, though. I mean, you do what you do, I do what I do, and it's
right.
That's that's
what it's about.
That was a scene out of Heat, which you haven't seen yet, but you gotta see it.
I've seen Heat.
I thought you said you didn't see Heat
with De Niro
and
Pesci
Pacino?
and Sharon Stone.
No, Pesci's not in that.
All right, maybe
you're thinking of Casino.
I'm thinking of Casino. I'm thinking of Casino. Yeah, I bet. Hey, Casino.
Heat, gotta watch it, dude.
Okay.
And maybe we'll do that. Michael Mann movie. Michael Mann. Michael Mann, okay? He did Miami Vice, okay?
So, all right, I have a couple more things.
Little factoids.
Armory of Darkness. So the magic words from spinach.
Necktie.
Klaatu, Barada, Nickachu. Everybody knows where that's from, right? It's Day the Earth Stood Still. Not only the Canon version, but the 1951 movie.
Of what version?
Well, the Day the Earth Stood Still. There's two versions, right?
Yeah,
there's 1951 and there's the Keanu Reeves version. They used it in both. In Return of the Jedi, they reused all three of those words in names and species and whatever.
That's really cool when they sneak that stuff in.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense if you think about it. Oh my God.
Like, I'm not exactly happy with what J.J. Abrams, and I know he's producing. He produced The Force Awakens was pretty damn good. But after that, I think they kind of fell short a little bit. A lot of it.
Oh, I agree.
Anyway,
well, I mean, it's what happens when you don't have a plan. I mean,
yeah, exactly. You just off the seat of your pants. Anyway,
how could you not follow the Marvel?
Exactly.
Roadmap,
Yeah, exactly.
It was there before.
They were doing it right. Anyway, the thing I did like about J.J. Abrams that he did with Star Wars, some of the side characters, they were Beastie Boys songs, but he just spelled them differently.
That's right. That's
pretty cool.
Oh my God, I do remember going through that, at the beginning, and especially in the cantina scene. You're right.
That's Beastie Boys. That's a band that I liked when I was younger, but then I appreciated them on another level as they got a little older, and their music after. Sabotage.
Well, also that they played, their own instruments. Again, Sabotage. They were a rock band basically.
Punk
and a very hip one.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, for sure. Oh my God! So
we're doing the neck above the head thing again, going off.
I know,
way off again.
The Beastie Boys. Yeah,
Beastie
Boys. Force Awakens. The Beastie Boys.
Beastie Boys.
Right,
to Kevin Bacon.
Yeah. So this movie was supposed to be Bruce Campbell's launch into superstardom. You look at him, he's lean, he's mean.
So young.
Everybody expected him to take that next step. I don't think it was his fault that he didn't make that leap.
Well, Army of Darkness made money in the theater run. It made money now, the $21.5 million. Yep. But you know what? I don't think it was enough of a push for him to get there. And this sucks because he's a talented guy. He's funny. Subtle things he does, like in Shop Smart, Shop S Smart. He's like, remember that part?
Yeah.
He's like,
I mean, you look at him in, in the Hercules series, and he was Autolycus, the King of Thieves, and it was a great character, and it fit his role. But he as far as like major motion pictures, like he lost the Phantom role to Billy Zane, and that's not a loss because that movie was ass.
Which one?
The Phantom Slam.
Oh Evil. Yeah, Slam Evil, dude. I got the ring from there. 7-Eleven, we were selling them when you got a Slurpee or a Big Gulp, and it was a crap ring. I put it on and it broke. Slam Evil.
Slam Evil. What are you doing? Like that's your tagline? My God. And then he was in Congo, but he was supposed to be lead, and he ended up being comedy relief.
He played Amy.
Amy. Sad. Amy won major role. Yeah, bad news.
Bad.
Poor Amy, bad. Okay.
The only thing I liked about that was the sign language because I'm like, I get what they're saying. But other than that, bad.
right.
Bad.
So bad. I know. So but the character of Ash Williams is really persisted. Ash versus the Evil Dead was his resurrection to this role, and really it picks up where the theatrical version ends, which was recut because the original ending was something much darker. I'm sure you recall that.
Where he ends up in where was it again?
It was another exact case of, well, I didn't, say the exact words. I didn't.
That's right. I love that. Yeah.
They were like, you have to take 6 drops of this elixir, and he ends up taking 7 because he doesn't listen because he's screw up.
Yeah, he is a screw up, and he's thick at it. And he's like, yeah,
So-
I basically said your words. I didn't say every syllable.
The original ending has him waking up in a post-apocalyptic London with a crushed version of Big Ben behind him. He's got a giant beard and long hair, and he's like, I overslept. And that was how the movie ended. Cold cut. You hear the credits, and the studio was like, "This is no. We spent this much money. We're not gonna. This ending is ridiculous." So they ended it in the like you referenced in the S-Mart, where there's a Deadeye, in the S-Mart.
Yeah, that was great.
That turns out to be the canon ending, because that's where Ash versus Evil Dead picks up, is him still at the S-Mart at the end of his career, which I found endearing, I guess.
Endearing,
that ending really was dark,
and it was dark, but it was his happiness. He was king there, like he said at the end.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, it was him in London. He's lost again. He has to start all over again. And he was king in the medieval, in the 1300s. He was king in the S-Mart,
King of S-Mart. That's awesome.
Hail to the king, baby.
Hail the king. Yeah, it was. I think the studio was right in that instance.
Well, apparently, Bruce Campbell and Sam Raimi agree, because that's where they picked up, Ash versus the Evil Dead. So apparently, that is the canon ending, and it does. It makes sense. And really, how would you jump off of the England ending? I mean, you're talking about mega budget, 3D mapping, blah blah blah.
You couldn't move forward with that, really.
Right. I mean, anybody can film an S-Mart. You could find a 1,000 shuttered Kmarts, all over the country. Yeah. Starting, there's one Lodi right here. So we have a lot of prime real estate. You're ready to film it.
Prime. Prime. I am Optimus Prime. Dude.
Starscream. I know.
That's funny. I'm like, I was doing this last week. Me and him were talking on the phone. I'm like, dude, that's supposed to be Starscream. He's like, I know. Like, listen, dumbass, I know what you're trying to do here.
I know. I've been
Prime.
There. Yeah.
Prime. Super Sammy
Well,
Prime. No,
so
it was
good.
Slides. What he used to do, Don Knotts. Remember that? Dude,
something.
it just popped in my head right now. Jack of all trades. It was. You can't see it there, but let me see. It's Sam Raimi produced, and it's Bruce Campbell. Sorry, Bruce Campbell. You've never seen it before.
No, I haven't.
And because you do some awesome work with Neck Above the Head here, it's on the way to you. Just order it right now.
Nice,
dude. It's good, corny fun, like silly,
like you would expect with Bruce Campbell role.
And it's produced by Sam Raimi, Rob Tabor.
Oh,
yeah,
snap.
It's on the way.
Look forward to seeing that.
Yeah, you'll enjoy it.
Bro.
Anyway, no problem, dude. So
yeah, that's Army of Darkness, basically, and all our nonsense.
All our nonsense that comes with it.
All that extra crap.
You get extra crap. We're not just targeting one where you get a bunch of that sidetracked all the time.
Pile of crap.
Here, eat this.
Hey, you like crap, something?
Heck yeah, there you go. Have some more. There's some seconds, boy.
So, hopefully you enjoyed it as much as we did. Clearly,
we enjoy the crap out of this.
We have a bunch more. We've actually taken some of your suggestions and are going to do episodes 3
definitely
onward with some of your suggestions. So
Big Trouble in Little China from actually a good friend of mine, Benjamin Baldwin, and we're going to go with that one.
Awesome. Yeah.
So
one of my favorite movies. Love it.
Yeah, it's great. John Carpenter is awesome.
Right?
Is he serious? Is he campy? Is he right?
As long as he doesn't play the music, I'm in.
Yeah. Vampires.
I know, like, everything else, all about it.
You know what it is, though?
John Carpenter.
Some people are successful at a lot of things, and they think they could jump on something else, too, and it just doesn't work.
I get it. Some people are control obsessive, and they really want to, be all-encompassing. David Lynch is an example of that. Like, and I like David Lynch's music. The stuff he did with Julie Cruz and stuff is fantastic, but it's not for everybody. And what's good for the goose is not necessarily good for the gander. And when it comes to film score, like you're really, rolling the dice here. I just made this hand gesture, like rolling the dice.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like I'm looking. Hey,
but Michael Jordan, baseball.
Roll
right?
this, baby. Roll this.
Roll this.
So,
Remember Michael Jordan's tried to be a baseball player?
I do with Chicago.
Yeah,
the White Sox. Yeah.
You're stick with what you know. Stick with what you know, dude.
Do what you do best.
He was a badass.
You don't have to be all things to all people,
No.
Jack of all trades, master of none. It
Jack
kind
of
of
all
works
trades.
out. I mean, in some rare cases does it work out, but honestly, that's a tough sell.
It is a tough sell. Could
there
be.
you can farm jobs out to other people. You really can.
Some people are just multi-talented, though. Look, there's like we mentioned in last episode. Here we are. We're going off, but like Prince, he could play almost every instrument. Played every instrument. Produced. One of probably the most underrated guitarists out there.
Absolutely. I agree.
And he was in
he just he led it. He led a. If you think about Prince's Revolution, Prince and beyond, he led several bands that were amazing.
Tight. And he
totally tight.
And he wasn't afraid to be a pioneer and venture off from his normal. You had
always reinventing.
When Doves Cry, and then a few years later you had Kiss, which is very kind of
Raspberry Beret. You think about he was very Bowie-esque in that way, where he would reinvent himself every record.
There's another one.
Constantly turn themselves over, but that's the sign of a superstar. That guy was not only was a genius musician, but you find good collaborators along the way. David Bowie working with a billion people, Nigel Rodgers, and
Nigel Rodgers,
Iggy Pop.
That's awesome.
All these guys contributed something to every iteration. Same with Prince. But Prince was really an entertainer par
he was
excellence. Really amazing.
Magnifique, as you would say, chef's kiss.
All right, guys.
Okay, we're out. We're yapping.
Well done. We're done.
We're wound out.
This is what we do here on this channel. We're always gonna find a way to work out our own personal sidebars because
Sidebar City.
But it's all connected. All of it connects
It is.
to in this case
Kevin
connects
Bacon.
to Army of Darkness. 6 degrees of that's this
Exactly.
we got here logically.
Yeah, you were
Logically?
good. Logically,
Sure.
yeah. Logically. Are you sure?
Is it logical?
Hey, logical something. Oh,
Is it
man.
logical? Who knows? But
Something.
yeah, it works for me, man.
Okay,
Works
awesome.
for me, brother.
So I'm Nickachu, and this is my buddy.
I'm Steve. Hello.
Something.
Hello.
How you doing? And thank you for joining
Thank
us.
you for joining us, of course. Yeah.
Well,
it's always
next week. Right. Next week.
Yeah,
another one.
we have. We believe it's. We're not gonna. We think what we know we're gonna do, but we're not gonna tip our hand. But it's gonna be awesome either way.
Yeah.
So
Either way.
thank you for joining us. Thank you for a
Thank
few
you.
minutes. Thank you for spending the time, and we'll see you in the next one.
Take care.
This is
And
Neck Above the Head.
neck above the head. Peace.
Later.